Do you remember the moment when Diamond Days was announced? We were all so excited to see these new plot-related episodes. We all wanted to see crazy action, interesting character interaction and great plot themes. Were they delivered? No, and I'm pretty sure every one of you are aware of that. You have all made tons of posts and videos about how the finale was rushed. Like how nobody was expecting Change Your Mind to be the last episode. We all thought that Season 6 would continue the Diamond plot forwards, that Steven will escape Homeworld from the deadly White Diamond. That was all so self-evident to all of us that when we actually realized that it was the last episode we couldn't believe our freaking eyes. We were left with a half-finished product and the crew thought they would get away with it. And they did, and that's because this show has so many blind fans. But I have seen a couple of dozen people who know it was rushed, so I know the crew knows they screwed up badly. I'm not here talking about that, at least not only that. There's so much more where this episode fails at that I could talk about it for hours. So anyway, let's see where exactly this episode fails at. Do you remember how in Escapism Stevonnie tried to escape the tower? It looked like it was impossible to do it, but in Change Your Mind, Steven easily jumps on the window and could easily escape from it by floating. Why didn't they do it sooner? Because of the plot. Seriously, this episode really makes it really hard to believe that these events are actually happening. It just feels so fake. Like when Connie lost half of her brain cells when she started to dance with Steven just because they wanted to make the plot move forward no matter how fake it looks. Speaking of Connie, the most implausible character of the whole show. She really ruins the realism of the finale completely. Let's get one thing straight, she is a weak human who should have been killed many episodes ago, just like Lars did. But for some reason she doesn't die. Of course you could say she is very cautious and is watching out for danger. Oh, don't make me laugh. You don't even believe that yourself. She is the most delusional and contradictory character I've ever seen. She openly mocks the diamonds without any consequences several times.
What do you know about this human?
You think I've never been grounded before?
If we bend the rules for her, we have to bend them for everyone!
Well, maybe you should.
Just what the heck is this character? The diamonds have invisible handcuffs on their hands when she is talking. She is a blatant example of a Mary Sue character. Also check out this.
Then who's that? Who cares? Knock her out!
You really think you saying that changes the situation in any way? Talk about hypocrisy. Also, they are giving Connie so much screen time in this episode. Why? Let's all be honest with ourselves. Nobody gives a flying shit about this character wasting the screen time on one of the most important parts of the whole show. Think about if it was Lapis who said this sentence, talking about how Steven changed her mind about how crystal gems in the earth are great things. That would have been so amazing, but nope. The writers want for some reason that Connie is stealing the show. Your brains need to be checked, crew. Also, this is the perfect example of the plot armor of Connie getting injured even a little. See how that hand ship hits Peridot and she flies forward, but for some reason Connie flies upwards. Yep. They changed the laws of physics for that character. That's the most Mary Sue you can get. And the cream of the crop is when she falls on Obsidian's hand. She doesn't die. A fragile little child doesn't die falling from hundreds of meters. I know what you're all thinking right now. Obsidian softened the landing. No, they didn't. The only way that would be true if Obsidian raised her hand when she caught Connie, but she didn't. Connie should be dead. If the crew did that in that scenario, the show would be at least 1% more credible. But that's never going to happen to that character. Maybe the only moment where I found Connie's inclusion to be okay was when she was carrying Steven to Pink Steven. That actually was a believable inclusion of the character. The writers should do something like that with Connie, realistic help, not this superhero bullshit that no one can take seriously. But enough about Connie. The next terrible thing is what I like to call an illusion effect. It's when characters suddenly talk about facts that don't actually exist on viewers' heads. There is no build-up or scenes where these things happen. Let me give you an example. You remember the moment when Blue Diamond was talking to White Diamond about how Pink Diamond made them laugh thousands of years ago. Sounds sad, right? That sentence is reference of the episode Familiar when Blue Diamond was talking to Steven about how they were having fun in the water chamber. You see the problem there? The moment is referencing to a moment that was talking about the moment. There's never a moment when we actually see White Diamond having fun with Pink and the other diamonds. So there's zero emotional attachment in that scene. Zero. Also, when Blue Diamond took Steven and Connie to the bubbled room where crystal gems were, it would have been so much better if we got to actually know these places beforehand. Now it just looks like they were made up as they went there, so boring. Another example.
Then let's fuse. All four of us. It's the only way we're gonna get up to her head.
I guess when casual fans are watching it in the moment and sees all these cool fusions, they aren't really thinking critically, but the piece can fly. Peridot can fly with her can. Amethyst can turn into a helicopter. You see that illusion there? The writers made you actually think that Obsidian's inclusion was very critical for that moment. But actually, it was the most useless thing that happened in this episode. Obsidian didn't do anything. They wasted one of the most important fusion that was foreshadowed since the beginning of the show too. What were they thinking? Well, I know what. We all like to think that Steven Universe is this big plot-heavy show with a lot of world building, and it is, sort of. But the crew were so arrogant that they wanted to save everything all the time. We can't show White Diamond yet, they say. We can't show anything yet. We want there to be a lot of suspense. Yeah, a lot of useless suspense. I mean, I kinda get their mentality. I also love just having frosty Coca-Cola bottle in my hand, just shaking it around. Feeling the cold surface in my fingers, just having the thought that I have something tasty in my possession. But the thing is, nobody wants to watch these filler episodes. I mean, they can be fun at times, but everybody wants to see Diamond plot any day before Connie's sword training. Also, did you notice how boring the home world looked? The only thing they showed were the diamonds. We didn't get to see what all the buildings are for and what the other gems do there. And on the Era 3 ball there were only jades and a couple of other gems in the audience. Where are the rest of the gems? Was it too difficult to make up a couple of more gems? Anyway, that's not that bad. Things are getting only worse. First, Steven wants to run away from Homeworld and clearly says that White won't ever see them. Then couple of minutes later he says he wants to talk after coming all the way to Homeworld. Steven's personality changes like a clock time. There's no consistency whatsoever. Did the writer change between those scenes? That's the only logical conclusion. I have some evidence for you skeptical watchers. In the art book it was stated the island adventure was scripted by multiple people, by them creating different segments of the episode in order. It's like a turn game of sort. Remember how freaking stupid Steven was in the episode? When Sadie told Lars and Steven that she was keeping them trapped on an island for weeks without good living conditions, the only thing Steven said was, "What? Yes. What?" That's what he said. He didn't give a shit. Normally Steven is a righteous character who calls people out on their evil doings, but in that episode it was like his brain was swapped, and it was different people wrote the episode. Should I call them the shovelware group that created this obvious filler cardboard story? This is what that changed your mind scene also felt like. I can't take anything what happens on this episode seriously anymore. Now for the worst part of the episode. The fusion scenes, and no, I'm not talking about them rushing the fusions and not giving them their proper build-up and development. Wow, illusion effect is infecting me, anyway. Although I think those things are terrible, there's something even worse happening here. The art and composition is the worst in this scene, not to mention the terrible acting and treating the watchers like preschoolers. Okay, when Steven was first falling and trying to grab the gems, it looked kinda slick. Then, when Steven fused with Amethyst, things started to go downhill very fast. First of all, just look at the background. It almost never changes during these scenes. It stays the same very long time. It's terrible. It looks so 2D. It looks like a school play. Can someone tell me how these people got to storyboard an important episode like this? Unbelievable. And it's not just the same camera angle that is terrible, it's the animation too. You can clearly see all the frames on these scenes. And most of the scenes are static. There's no animation at all. It's like I'm watching a fan-made animation. Actually no. Not even fan-made animations look this cardboard. Look at that expression and acting of Smoky Quartz combined with the static rotating flash body and plastic background. It looks like Smoky Quartz is waiting for the answer to be said, like in the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, before they announces the answer themselves. That's how stupid the one who wrote and storyboarded this scene sees the viewers. Do they live under a rock? Also, this takes the cake.
Guys, we've got to do something to keep those hands off of them.
Right, but first, I made you a little something.
My own sword? It's perfect.
That conversation is the most unnatural one I have ever heard. It's like they purposefully tried to make the conversation between Connie and Bismuth sound as exposition heavy and robotic as possible. This one too.
Wow. Alright. Unbelievable.
Look how they all react in order like stupid robots. I feel so insulted. Actually, the fusion scenes didn't have the most pathetic looking animation now that I think about it. There's one even worse, and no. I'm not talking about White Diamond looking like a paint drawing in the end. I am talking about this. Look how pathetically Lapis and Peridot go up and come down. That's the laziest animation I have ever seen in my life. We are just seeing the new forms, and they reward it with plastic. Here's lazy reused animation for you as a bonus. Also, I must say now that they have completely ruined Peridot, she has become a joke now. She is so brain dead that she always gets herself in dangerous situations. Peridot used to be smart, not anymore. Peridot and Lapis didn't even do anything in this episode. Nothing except flying with Trashcan lid. This episode could have been a lot better if it didn't end the show and they just continued the Diamond story in Season 6. But you can't expect the writers to have brains.